What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hollywood Already Did It, your movie podcast for things that have been rebooted, remade, sequelized, adapted, told to us 1,000 times over and over and over again. As always, I'm your host, Blake Schultz, and with me is Terrence Tatum.
Hello, everyone.
And this week we are doing the second movie adaptation of of the
Second live
cartoon.
action
Because
adaptation.
yeah. We've tried so many times to do this franchise, and seemingly the best way to do it is in toys. And I find that to be hilarious because it is from the era of the cartoons are ads for toys. Your
Correct.
Transformers, your maybe not Thundercats as much, but
G.I. Joe was
certainly this one,
definitely
GI Joe.
Yeah.
But certainly this one might be the most of it all is
This was
He-Man
the
and the
toys came
Masters of the
almost first, I
Universe.
believe. Yeah, it's
I
nuts.
think so. I think this and Transformers were we have a toy line, and the best way to advertise it is to tell stories about
Let's
them.
do something.
So let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge 80s property, big 90s kind of property. I think, and then it's we talked about this, I think, off mic, but this franchise,
Mhm.
I think, really became I think people my age know it more from the Family Guy
Memes,
references and the
memes, and
memes,
yeah.
and then they do the show. I could not tell you too much
Agreed.
about the lore or the story or the
Yeah.
background. Because even by the time I was watching Saturday morning cartoons, your Thundercats, Gargoyles,
It
reruns of
was
other
off by the time
Transformers,
you.
it was already gone,
It
and
was
it
done by
didn't
the
seem
time
to
you got it.
have
Yeah.
the same syndication as other GI Joe
No.
and Transformers.
No. There was an early 90s one that came back, but nobody liked it, so they got rid of it because they kind of remodeled everything, and then they came back late in 2000s with a one that was a little bit more aesthetically accurate. And so, but that didn't last long either. It's one of those ones where unlike Turtles or unlike Transformers, it didn't really stay in the zeitgeist the way that others did. I think She-Ra actually has done a better job because She-Ra's Netflix series took off and lasted and kind of just had more of a groundswell than even the Kevin Smith, which I think is actually Revelations is really good, but it didn't. She-Ra did better than Masters of the Universe
Yeah,
Revelations.
and then there's this 2021 one. Oh, that is the Revelation one. I couldn't. The CGI on that just looks so strange to me at first. It
Yeah,
always
there's a
throws me off.
second one that came out that's not Kevin Smith. I think it's just a Netflix series, He-Man, that um the animation looks weird on it. It's I don't know who developed it, but I think Revelation is the most recent that was actually really well done. Um the animation on that other Netflix one and the Master Universe is does it's not for me.
Yeah, but I think this whole franchise is definitely the king of the FCC relaxing its toy ban of how to you can advertise and do this, and
Yeah.
it's really is a wild thing to always think about that. Where just one day they were like, well, we can do this now. That everyone was like, great, attack them with extremely cheap animation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very,
So we can crank out
it's
like a season is 100 episodes or something. Seems like we're going to syndicate the crap out of
yeah.
this thing.
And I
Yeah.
think that might be why it didn't latch into the zeitgeist as much as the other ones. I think even Transformers, which also did the same thing, and GI Joe had so many more characters and beats to kind of latch onto and I think He-Man kind of always lived in the silliness of all of it, and
Yeah.
it's very small soldiers almost. All the characters are very, very, very here they are. This one fights this one, and this one fights
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, let's get into this movie. This long awaited by some people and confusing to others movie. Yeah, I'll let you go first because I think you enjoyed it a little bit more than I did.
Yeah. This give a little inside baseball about my age. I was born in 81, so I was around through all the iterations of this He-Man. So I had every single one of these He-Man figures in a small toy box, and I had the Kingdom of Grayskull toy set, which if you were a kid, that was like having the Technodrome. That put into your terms, that would be like having the Technodrome for the Turtles. Like that's what that was. Um, and so I lived all of this. I was very much in the theaters when the Dolph Lundgren version of Masters of the Universe came out. At the time, loved it. As I grew up, I was like, "What the hell? This has nothing to
Oh
do
yeah,
with He-Man
it's
whatsoever."
a rough one.
Even though there are some fun things in it, Frank Langella playing Skeletor, like, oh, there's some cool things a part of it. but it just didn't have the lore of all the sort of side characters that are a big part of who Masters of the Universe is, specifically Cringer or any of that stuff. So coming going into this movie, I was like, well, Travis Knight did Bumblebee. I genuinely like what he has done with properties of yesteryear before, so let me see what we have here. And I was smiling from ear to ear. This movie is there, it's cheesy, but so is the cartoon. Like that's kind of it's in the vein of what it's supposed to be. I think I have like three problems that I sort of have with the film, but overall, I had a really good time. Each time a toy that I played with showed up on screen and did the thing that they did, I was like, they're doing the thing. This is awesome. This is amazing. Trap jaw switching. I had the toy that like back then you would just like take the piece off and then put it
Pop
on.
it
Like
off.
them actually
Yeah.
doing it in real time. I was like, this is fun. This is great. I'm having a really, really fun time. Um, it looks gorgeous. Sometimes I think a little too glossy, but Eternia is supposed to look like that. Like that's how Eternia looks. So I can't get really mad at it looking like the reference that it's supposed to. I think one of the weaker things for me is I think I don't. This has always been sort of the case. I don't attach as much to Adam slash He-Man as I think they would like us to. But I also think that was a problem in the cartoon. Like he was there, but I always gravitated to all the characters that were around him that were more oddities than this big hulking. It's kind of like the Incredible Hulk type of scenario where like, hey, this guy or Superman, like, oh, this guy is so powerful. He's cool to be around, but it's all the people that are have some fallacies to them that make them a little bit more interesting than this guy. And that sort of happens here. I think Nicholas is doing a good job as portraying it. I just don't think that character is designed to be somebody that the majority of the audience is going to be like, ah, I can get behind them versus looking at Man of Arms. Now Idris is doing a much better job. Like he's carrying sort of the
I mean,
weight
it's
of the
Idris
arc.
Elba. He's
Yeah,
yeah.
right, right.
I
Like he's
mean,
carrying sort of the weight
he
of
is
the film.
him and I hate saying it, but him and Jared Leto are the like
Man,
saving
I
graces of this
wanted to.
movie.
This movie hangs on Skeletor being freaking amazing. Like
If
Skeletor in
he,
this movie
yeah,
is phenomenal. And I think if it were anybody else, I hate to say this because I'm not a Jared Leto fan, but if there's anybody else doing this, I don't know if this movie would work. Like
no,
he
I
gets the assignment immediately, and every time he's on screen, I'm like, he gets it. And then some of the other characters sort of follow along with it. I'm like, okay, they're all sort of in the boat. They're doing the things they're supposed to do. Evelyn's supposed to be sort of like, yeah, I'm tired of you always slapping me around, but I'm not. I'm going to be here through with you through the thick and thin of it. Like their dynamic all works.
yeah.
Um, and so I was just having fun. Like I was having fun. It does a couple of things that I don't know if it works as well. I think Barbie did a better job of it, but specifically being kind of poo-pooing the franchise or saying some things that kind of make what you do goofy. Specifically like, hey, Fisto, or like using the term Fisto a bunch of times or doing that they just become where it's like I'm winking and I'm making fun of the property that I'm doing. I don't know if that needed to happen as often as it does in this movie. It happens a few too many times where I'm like, all right, are you being self-referential or parody or
Or are you
which
just
line
out of
are
stuff to say?
right? Like I'm just
Because
like
that's how it felt to me. Because I'm sorry
yeah,
that you're tapping on something that I both loved about the movie and then eventually was like, I got it. But like
right.
I thought it was a very clever idea that all of their like weird, goofy '80s names are from him as a kid drawing them,
I
and
get that.
it's a fun. It
And it's a
makes
fun way to
sense. It
right.
justifies it. It's funny, but like
And
the
it's a fun way
fifth
because they're not, I
time
can
we
see
do
them
it,
not calling themselves that, but like, oh
like,
yeah, yeah, but you guys this kid giving you a code name and it's coming from a 10-year-old. Works for me. I got it.
and by the fifth time,
Yeah. And
stop.
and
Like
even when he
it's
names himself at the end, I'm just like, all right, I get it, but we beat this joke to death by now, guys. Like this doesn't need
yeah,
to be here anymore. Um, my other two problems, one of them we mentioned is that the biggest part of this movie is the person that they can't use in any type of promotion at all. And it's just that it's they put themselves in sort of an eight ball, but I'm like,
yeah.
Jared Leto should be on the tour circuit for this because he is the bread and butter of this. It should be Idris and Jared like literally doing all the tour
Yeah.
circuits.
I think the other reason you can't do that though is because like they're not the main characters and it is
Correct.
it's hard to be like, come see the people that are in the movie less than
Right.
these
And that is
other
completely
people.
unrecognizable. Like for in
Yeah,
Jared's case, like you could, outside of us knowing it, his voice has been altered and his you can't see his face at all. So there's nothing
yeah.
about this that looks like Jared Leto. So they can definitely get away with it, but it's just weird because so much of the movie is good because of him.
No,
My third
he's in the movie that I want to be watching the whole time.
correct.
That's my biggest
He
problem
gets
with the
it.
movie might be that
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
I want to watch the Skeletor movie more than I want to watch what they made, and I feel like there's what 6 writers credited on this, and I
There
think that
are.
is my problem. Is it feels like
Yeah.
there's one writer who's nailing Skeletor, and then
Yeah.
5 people with He-Man, and everyone else being like, should it be a joke? And if it's a joke, should it be a meta joke or a crass joke or a
And
regular
it's
joke? And
and I think it's
should
weird
we
because I
remind
feel
the
like
audience that Idris is an alcoholic again for the 12th
again,
time? Should we keep hitting this home?
and I feel like it's weird because He-Man, from all the iterations that I've seen, yes, Adam is a little bit more earnest and weaker than, which I'll get on in a minute. But He-Man is always sort of kind of like the Captain America of it all, where he's pretty straight
Right.
laced, straightforward. And I think if you write that, especially on the first time that an audience is seeing him, it it's hard to connect to that when it's that straightforward. So you make him a little bit, try to make him a little bit more fish out of water. It's just it doesn't come off
And
correct all the time.
no, because he's a fish out of water twice. And now we're
Right.
gonna I have so many it bothers me. One, I don't need him as a kid on Earth at all. We can cut all of this out. I don't need him as a teenager on Earth. We never come back to his job. His undisclosed, his HR job.
That is
They
very
position his job as if they're selling HR.
right.
Like it makes no
It's
sense to
so
me.
vague as to what it is that he actually
Yeah,
is doing.
it it's
And I
as
feel
if they're
like they could have
packaging
literally
it.
just the Earth part could have just literally just opened with him going to find the sword. Like I don't
Right.
need to have the explanation of him doing something
It
else.
because it also kept really irritating me that they were positioning it as if he landed on Earth as a kid and had nobody on Earth guiding him at all. He's I get that it's supposed to be funny, but it kind of breaks your world when he's in school being like, I drew Ram Man. And they're like, he's not real. And he's like, he is real. And I was like, he doesn't have like a Ma Kent
Someone
or a
to be
Pa
like
Kent to
to
just be like,
clock off to like maybe you shouldn't talk about this in real world because you
yeah,
seem a little nuts.
he's telling
Yeah.
dates, he's telling his roommate, he's telling like everyone. It eventually was kind of like it works in Thor because he's Thor,
Right.
but he's also an adult in Asgard. So the
Correct.
problem is he's a fish out of water on Earth, but then when he gets back to Eternia, he's a fish out of water again. And
Mhm.
then when and we never give him there's no difference between Adam and He-Man. Where like I get that the
Yes.
MCU has kind of done away with secret identities, but like Clark Kent and Superman
Correct.
have different personalities.
Yeah.
And it did kind of annoy me that even as He-Man, he had like zero confidence or wherewithal or
Yeah,
ability at
yeah,
all.
it's weird that when he has his big on the bridge, when he has his the great iconic power by the power of
Yeah.
Grayskull, I have the power. Uh for the joke, it works that he still kind of gets punched in the face and loses the sword. But for us believing that he's He-Man and He-Man's like the greatest thing that's ever since sliced bread, that shouldn't have occurred because there's not enough of a variance between who Adam is and He-Man.
Yeah.
Some of that is because of the stature of Nicholas. Like I get it, you had to get buff to be He-Man, but they didn't do Adam looks like
Oh no,
He-Man,
we
just in a
kept
big
giving him
pink
this
shirt. Like
build that
he's
also,
still
yeah, he
that pink shirt isn't hiding the
ev-
fact you're built like a
every
fucking
shot
tank.
every shot of the gym when he was like, "Oh, can you give a newbie some help?" I was like, "You're already in
You're
shape.
a tank, right?
What
And
are we doing?" When he's
it
running on the
annoyed me.
bridge with her and he's like, "Oh God, I
Here's
gotta
where
run
this
and
pisses
jump." And I was like, "This doesn't this what
you are
are
built like a god already. Like what pisses me off is that they expect us to not know that what he looks like under that shirt and be buff. So when he transforms, they put CGI a weak version of him, and I'm like, that's not what he looked like under that shirt at all.
yeah,
Like, what are you
no."
talking about?
It was so weird. It really feels like they tried to do Thor and Captain America at the same time and did neither. But what also kind of bugs me in the I have the power, and it bugs me throughout the movie. He finally gets like the sorceress finally talks to him and is like, here are the words.
Yeah,
So he has everybody around him at all points who can like help him. No, there's never a moment like an Obi-Wan Kenobi moment where someone is like, here's what the force is, here are the rules, now you're back, here's how to do it.
Hmm.
And so when we have these moments where he has to figure it out, it always has to be this like a weird flashback of someone being like, "Oh, we totally forgot to tell you, by the way, to turn
Yeah.
it on, do this."
Like the
Uh,
sorcerer, like talking to him on the bridge, like through his eyes. And I'm like, well, you've known where he was this whole time.
this
Why
whole
couldn't you just
yeah,
go talk to him or let him know what you just left him out there to hang on Earth for
where
decades?
he apparently was not raised by anyone
No one
because
raised
he
him.
has
He just all of a
like
sudden became a grown up and
he's for
somehow wound up at
15
school.
years. Yeah, it's a
I also
oh
don't
god,
like the part that for me, the separation of the sword and thing. I'm thinking of the timeline of Earth and how everything was. There's no world where there would not have been news of a sword hitting the ground out of the sky. Like
right,
someone
yeah,
would have had that information. Now, he might have had a kid, not been able to get to that. But by the time he was a teenager, he would have been able to look that up and be like, oh, I'm going to go to get
yeah,
the sword.
because when he finds the sword, it's in a comic book shop and it's part of another presumably fake character that they
It's
create
correct. Yeah.
as if it is the He-Man sword,
It
which
looks like
also
that.
means
Yeah.
that it should have been like in movies and in comics
Correct.
and like
Yeah.
it's
Like it,
like it
it felt like it should have been something that was a known entity the way that it shows up because
yeah,
nobody seems odd in that comic shop about that character having that sword. So that part just seemed too easy. And I think that happened a lot in this movie where everything sort of happened too easily to make things happen just because some of it was acceptable for me because I was like, okay, that's what the cartoon did. I get it.
right.
But some of it's like movie knowledge or logic doesn't make sense to make from get to point A to point B
And
for this.
I think that's my biggest gripe is that like for everything that worked, there were some jokes I laughed at. Skeletor was awesome. Evelyn is awesome. All of the design work is really good. I think the movie's shot very well, and I actually really liked the score.
Yes.
But there's nothing to really hang your hat on because
No.
they don't really have any good arcs for anybody. And the moments that they do are so fast. Like when we find Man at Arms again, and he's like in his like drunk fat Thor phase, and then very quickly like shaves and is like, I'm back. But then he doesn't train Adam. And that also I was like,
That also
well, now
bothered me.
you it was like we just do an 80s montage and get him
Yeah,
up
I
to
was like,
speed.
let's get you up to speed because again, when he turns from Adam to He-Man, you're telling me then what you want me as an audience to understand is that hey, he may be this brute force now, but he is still not trained in how to fight. Because then I'm like, all right, well, Man at Arms' purpose now is to make sure that he gets up to speed so
Right.
that he can fight and he can handle that weapon well enough to
He
do so.
he
But
is
he
constantly
still goes into
surrounded by people
battle,
that can help him.
but no one does.
Like it's weird to me that like and it's because the pacing of the movie just doesn't really work because we're trying so hard. Like the opening isn't that bad, and I kind of liked, but later it becomes a problem. I sort of liked his dad being a dick, and I liked Man at Arms being like, "Get up, let your dad see that you can take a hit," and he doesn't
Yeah,
turn around. And I
but
was like, "Ooh, I kind of dig this."
I did too. But
And
it
then we
doesn't
get
go anywhere because after that point, outside of that opening scene, he is very kind to his son for the rest of the movie.
and it yeah, and it bothered me. Oh, this scene bothered me so much. I'm just gonna jump. And we're just gonna jump around. When the dad dies and he shoots the laser and it knocks the rocks off and then has this like long scene with his dad, but Skeletor is still in the room, so is Evelyn,
Mhm.
and they're all just it's as if the movie forgets that characters are in
There,
the same
there's
space
a lot
because
there. I think
they seem to
that
just
happens there. That happens
twice
one more
in the
time.
last fight in the main
Yeah,
fight we
where it's
forget that
like
everybody else is
we're all
there.
gonna pause while you guys go do your exposition piece, and we're just frozen in time.
Like
And it's
the
funny because
movie
I think that happens a lot in animation. Like a lot of that happens in cartoons so often. But I think usually it's sort of explained like, hey, this person, like evilly being a witch, like I can freeze this or I can freeze this, like something is frozen.
there's
But that's
usually
not
something
happening
that
here.
happens, yeah.
Right. It's just kind of like, all right, we're gonna go back and kind of go back down his memory lane. And don't get me wrong, seeing Skeletor in the business suit
That
is
was awesome.
chef's kiss. It's
Like,
fantastic. But it is still one of those moments where like, why are we all just watching them go through this? Or if we're not, explain to us as an audience that this is happening super slow for them and extremely fast for us. Like it's only like 5 seconds for us,
it
where it's
is
like 20 minutes for them.
It's amazing that in a movie with so little real plot and story, that instead of exposition that we kind of need, we instead get like 10 scenes of people repeating dialogue to each other.
Hmm.
Instead of them ever being like, here's how the world works, and here's what the sword does, and here's why it's important, we get like 4 scenes of Man at Arms and his daughter arguing about the same thing.
Yeah.
We get like 4 scenes with Jared Leto just being like, but I want it. And a bunch of scenes with Adam just kind of being like, I don't know what to do, and
I have no
everyone
idea
being
what's
like, he
happening.
doesn't know what to do. And then we
Right.
we almost give him a moment. We almost give him, to your point, the Captain America, I'm the leader moment. Where he's in the prison and he's
Hmm.
like, these are all my favorite people. I've been drawing you. I know what to do my whole life. And then he just kind of fumbles it. And instead of
Yeah.
him being like,
Like calling
and
out,
they,
like, I want you to do this. I
yeah,
want you to do
and
that. You go there. Yeah.
they have this moment to do that, and then instead they're just like, you know what, we're all going to push the door at the same time.
Which I thought he was going to say between Fisto and Ram Man,
We
you
can
guys can
push
knock
through the
this down. Like,
stone,
yeah, like you can knock out the bricks and we can get through the other
and
way
then
as
Mecha
opposed to
Neck
going through
can
the
like use his neck to get
correct.
through and like tell us he's the
Like
human
set up a
periscope.
plan, right? Because the way that these toys, the way that I always play with these toys, they each person had a purpose. Like they all sort of did.
Yeah,
They were like a almost an RPG game. Like,
yeah,
all
you
right,
need
you
to
are this
buy all of
person.
them, Terrence.
Yeah,
Otherwise, there's a gap in your strategy. You need all the
exactly.
toys; they all serve a function.
But in here, it's all of them are punch, punch, kick, and like none of them do anything special or different. Where you're kind of like, oh, this is your purpose. This is what you do here. It feels, to your point, the plan didn't matter at that point. It's kind of like, all right, let's go all and just
Right,
punch, punch, kick, and I'm going to get here. And also, I still don't know what I'm doing because no one's trained me to do anything.
right, yeah, and he still can't fight.
Right.
And then we get so many back to back like moments that are just rushed. We just steal from Thor Ragnarok. We destroy the sword. He gets
Yeah.
his the power always came from inside of you, which also it bothered me, not because it's like weird, but because I'm like, okay, whenever we've done these arcs before with Thor or with Captain America or in Star Wars or in all the other times where we've been like, you have the power, we see them being whatever that is.
Yeah.
We get scenes with Cap when he's small and skinny, being like, I don't want bullies. I don't want to
There
kill
is,
anybody.
we see a human
He
moment earlier in the movie where you're like, all right, this is the true essence of who he is.
he shows, and they're like, it's your empathy. He shows
Right.
no empathy ever in
No.
this movie.
Well,
The
and
only
actually
time
shows
we
reverse because when he's going through at the job and telling that person what's going on with their life, he's very rude and matter of fact about how he handles
he's
that.
not listening, he's
Right.
drawing, and
Yeah.
he's like, maybe you should just listen more. Then he goes into a meeting to be told that he's not good at his job, where he just is like, somebody found my
I
sword,
need to answer this
fuck
phone.
this.
Yeah.
Then when he gets to the shop, he doesn't listen. He's just like, it's my sword, I'm taking it. He
Right.
has zero sense of like, oh, I'm ruining all of this stuff
Hmm.
around me. He does not seem to care about the date that doesn't go well. He like
No.
belittles his roommate immediately.
He doesn't care because even the way that you would sort of get there is like even though he doesn't know how to fight or what that monster is that's chasing him in Tila, if he is trying to save people while that's happening, you can then sort of be like, okay, there's a good person in there,
and
like there's a hero in there.
and the only time he kind of does is with the robot that we also keep forgetting they have.
Yeah,
And when
I
he's
love
like, she's
Roboto,
not
one of
a
my favorite
mage,
characters.
she's a
Yeah,
great, she's a
yeah,
warrior robot. But he never like empathizes with. He's still just sort of like, no, yeah, she's a robot. And then later he's like going to battle mode, and she's like, they reprogrammed me. And he's like,
I
are you
can't do that. I've already
serious?
actually
Like,
explained this to you a long time ago.
yeah. So he's constantly just like bad at listening,
Yeah,
uh, driven to like, even when his dad is dying, he's like, don't die yet. I have to tell you I love you. Just say it. Just say it. Which it also bugged me that his dad was a dick in the first scene, and then we don't see him until he dies, and they get a long scene together, and his mom, who is nice, gets like a small hug.
yeah, yeah. Like
It's no,
you're clearly and in his photos at home, we don't see a mom. We see the
no,
king, him, and mom photo of the family, but there's a solo dad photo. There's not one of
yeah,
mom, and she seemed to be the only one that liked you, kid.
no. He also, as a kid, just seems to want to have fun. Like at no point when his dad is like, "Be a good fighter," is he like, "I'm trying my best." He is just like, "I don't wanna."
Yeah, and it's a weird
So
thing,
for
even
them to
being
then
a
be like, "It's your empathy,"
that's
Adam is like,
right.
"No, it isn't."
Like yeah, like even if he didn't want to be a fighter, there's a way to show him being kind or empathetic without making him look like I'm gonna dance to a dance
He
number in the middle of this training situation.
and also unlike Thor, like when Thor gets banished to Earth, he like falls in love with Earth and is like, oh, I like these
And
people and I
this
like everyone
Adam
here.
wants no parts of Earth. He's like,
I,
F this place.
it's as if
And
they
it's
only bring the roommate back at the end because the movie forgot about it, which is why
and
I'm
here's
like,
the
you can
craziest
get
part
rid
because
of
it's a
Earth.
line, it feels like a throwaway line and they don't bring it up, but his mom's from there. So if you go to Earth, at the very
Yeah.
least, you'd be like, I'd like to see where my mom is from.
How is he not with his grandparents? How is he
Right.
not? How is who is this boy that's been walking around for
Just
15 years just being
just
like,
shows
did you
up.
know there's a space kingdom? And I'm going to save it one day. And if it ever attacks you, I won't help.
Because I don't care about any of you.
Yeah. No, no, it's his empathy. But my point after that point is like, we then do this like kind of rushed, we break the sword. Then we have to rush through this, like, actually, it's your empathy. Then we have to rush through Skeletor's awesome frying in his mind and seeing everything. Then we have to kind of rush through Skeletor, who makes a good point when he's like, you cannot reason. You just learned the lesson that it's not all about your strength. And I immediately am being like, no, I can't be reasoned with. So we throw that out
Yeah.
right away. We
Yeah.
throw the whole lesson of the movie out immediately. He
Yeah,
then,
you go from like I want to let's talk it out. Skeletor in that moment doesn't want to talk it off. You punch him around for a little bit, and yes, it is hilarious. Skeletor's like, hold on, let's talk now. Let's talk. Let's now take
very,
a moment to talk.
very Avengers Loki. If it's all the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
to you, I'll have
yeah.
that drink now. Which I also was like, okay, we are just taking the greatest hits of the
Some of the bits.
MCU
Yeah,
and reducing the flavor.
it's a Diet Coke or a filtered
It's
Coke.
a
But like
yeah,
to your point, he at that point is kind of like, no, I'm just going to punch your face in now. And you would think because it would be fine if we had hero moments earlier that led him to get to that where it didn't come off so dickish. But you're kind of like, well, hold on. You just talked to this man and
yeah.
said, let's talk. And after you
They
punch him
also
around a while, you got him to a point where now he's willing to talk. And you're like, nah, that time's over. I'm beating the crap out of you.
they also are just constantly like, he's bad at his job, and then he's like, I'm good at talking to people, and it's like, the only time we've seen you do this, you were immediately pulled into an office and told you were going to be fired.
Yeah,
You're not good at it.
no,
Like,
no. And
how
clearly
could you?
you're not because your date just walked away from you. She's like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah,
And so
you're
much so, you started talking about other stuff and she just disappeared and you did not notice.
yeah, yeah, and I think it's all of that. That then when they're like, the movie is funny and it has some comedic moment, I was smiling in the movie, but then I did get up and I was like, I feel nothing. I feel like I
Just
watched some Robot Chicken
empty,
sketches that were
empty
kind of
calorie,
funny.
empty calories.
Yeah,
So my other third point that bothered me as a plus 40-year-old who this is for, I'm like, yes, I like this movie. I don't know who else this is for because I wouldn't take my 5 to 9-year-old in this because
a lot
there
of dick jokes.
shit gets said 3 times in a row. And I was like, well, I don't want to have to explain that. I was like, Tila, why is that the word you're saying? You made up a word to what you call him. Why can't you make up an expletive word for Eternia? Why is shit the word that's being said in the middle of this movie?
No,
Like, I wouldn't bring my kid to this, see this. You said fisto, there's head brought up in the middle of it, and yeah, it may go over their head, but at some point in time, you need to, is this for kids or is this just for
and
the one sector of men over 35?
I think the movie lacks that overall identity because we are bouncing between being like, look how funny and silly and meta we are, but we still never really take anything seriously. So you can't really put your hat on any of that. The only thing you really can is Skeletor and Man at Arms and Lockjaw's thing. Because when he
Hmm.
gets in there and he's like, "Do you remember me?" and he pulls his jaw and he puts the, I was like, "Oh, this is
Oh,
awesome."
yes.
And you are just constantly like, well, I want to be in the movie that Idris Elba and Jared Leto are making
Whatever they're
because
doing, yeah.
because even Jared Leto's comedy moments work better because it's not over and over and over and over. Like when he is like,
Right.
that was the climax, we're done. That was the
Right.
crescendo,
And
and
he
I was
never
like,
does that again. But it's good in
yeah,
that one moment. Like, oh, that's funny. Yeah.
where it's like every other moment with He Man and it's not Shira, it's the
Tila.
princess Tila
Yeah.
is like joke, joke, joke. You suck. Joke, 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 joke. I missed you. I missed you. And the best one is when he lifts it. He's like, oh, you can stop looking at me. This is actually quite heavy.
Yeah.
And
Like
I'm like, see,
this is not like.
you guys can do this,
Yeah.
but then all of your emotional moments are just repeating the same thing over and over. Uh, and I think that was just where I was like, but they nailed a lot. We got to see Skeletor on the big hologram.
Killed
I
that.
did
I was
want
like, that is perfect. Yeah.
we had the moment of Battle Cat not wanting to go with him. And he's like, oh,
Yeah,
fine.
being Cringer and being all stuff, and then him saying the armor. I sent a child, a spine, a chill at my spine. I'm like, yes, put him in the armor, and they do. You get to see it at the
Yep.
end. I was like, oh, that's
Yep.
dope, sweet.
Needed way more of him. I know that it's a big CGI cat that's expensive,
That's
but I
like
would have
that's going to
liked
cost
more.
some money, but yeah, I would have
Yep.
liked him to have been around, like to the point.
Again, a
I
character who could have
forgot he was
explained everything to him.
to the point that I forgot he was there because he was on Eternia for so long that he didn't bring up Cringer, which is also amazing to me. That
Crazy.
when she brings him around, I was like, I got a surprise for you. I'm like, oh, why wasn't that one of the first things he asked about when he got there?
Why? Yeah. Why did we get here?
Also,
Not
where's my
immediately go. Where
mom?
are my parents and my cat?
Right.
My first impression is going to be misnaming all of the people I looked up to, and then immediately falling down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Cringer's
very.
great. I actually like the fight sequence when they happen. They're really
All of the
freaking
action
cool.
is great, and what also?
Yeah.
Oh, it bothered me so much. We have that one girl, Dion, that they call her.
Yeah.
Was like,
When
you
she does
pushed
the
me into the
spin with
locker.
yeah, yeah.
Why are we using her more? That was awesome.
So that was awesome. Like everything she
Why do we
did
just
something
have
different
her?
than everybody else. Yeah.
Why do we have her in the corner the whole time doing the same joke about her pushing him in the locker when he was a
I
kid?
was like, wait, she
That
could
was
do that?
awesome.
I would use more of her. Right.
We got and we keep being like Mechaneck is the like optic, the he can see
Yeah,
everything,
he
and all he ever
never
does
at
is
any
like
point,
use.
yeah, like he never at any point go because he like in the cartoon and how you use him as a toy, like he would
Yeah,
always reach spots where you couldn't see. So he'd be like, all right, go give me a bird's eye view or go look at that. That never happens here. I was like,
no,
well, why not?
it was
Like,
a deeply frustrating movie because they did so many things well, and then so many things just like, oh, come on.
yeah.
And I think 20 minutes out of it, and it would have helped a lot. I think that it took
I
so
think if you
long to
sped it
get
up,
going.
yeah, I think if you sped it up and got rid of some of the repetitiveness that happens in the middle of the film, and then just like, all right, we're just gonna have fun and just go from A to B, I
Yeah,
think that would have worked better. But I think it's clear that Travis Knight had a love for this, so he sometimes overdid it in the lore and then didn't kind of kept going back and forth on this, like we're gonna put it out there or we're gonna have fun with it or we're gonna poo-poo it a
yeah,
little bit. And in that didn't kind of pick a lane and it got a little
and
muddy there.
I think that I keep seeing comparisons to Barbie, which I think is interesting, but I get it. But like, if that's the like all other toy brand that's being
Mattel,
meta,
yeah.
that worked better in its meta-ness because she cared about
Well,
all of it.
yeah, I think there's
Like
also a
there,
high concept piece of that because it's essentially about like life and death and like what's my
yeah.
purpose in life. There's something a little bit more existential about that film than this. This is at the surface level, just like, hey, I want my
And
sword. I'm
it
power.
tried to do that. Like it tried to be like the muscles aren't what make you a man, it's your empathy. What
Yeah,
is a man? What does it mean to be a man? And I was like, well, you've answered this question and then also contradicted it 9 times.
so many times. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you at no point was him talking to anybody helpful. At no point was it like it's
Yeah, like if
and
that's his great skill to de-escalate things and talk to things, then there's a clearer way to do that than what he put forth.
because even in Thor, which this borrows from the most, Thor constantly tries to talk to Loki, and it's constantly like, "Stop doing this." And then Loki
Yeah,
stabs him, and he's like, "Okay, fine, I'm going to beat you up now."
yeah. Like you,
To the point
I've given
where
you
eventually,
multiple opportunities to not be a dick, but here we go.
to the point where at the end of the third movie, he's just like, "Hey, I don't want to see you anymore. We keep
Yeah,
doing this, so why don't you go that way and I'm going to go this
yeah,
way?"
like we've done enough of this. I'm tired. Like let's be done.
It,
Yeah,
this feels like if in the end of Captain America 1, Steve Rogers was like, "Wait, Red Skull, let's discuss things first. He is a Nazi."
yeah. Well, that's the point. Like I get it. If you want to talk, you're either going to do it all the way through or not. But you having a talk with the person that murdered your father just seems
In front of
odd.
you.
Yeah.
This dude's whole agency was somebody has something I don't have, so I'm going to kill everyone and take it. And then to prove I'm a good ruler, I'm going to keep killing people. Then I'm going to kill your dad in front of you because I'm bored. And,
Yeah. I
and
got nothing
he's
else to
like,
do.
let's talk this out. And he's like, no, I
Yeah.
keep showing you. Like, what?
Yeah.
It could have worked if he had like talked to Evelyn, maybe if he was like, hey, this dude keeps beating you up, and like maybe she could like we could have had a moment somewhere.
That's what was a weird piece to me. And I don't know if something got cut, which probably did because this movie was already too long, but I am a little confused as to why we showed so many sequences of Skeletor abusing Evelyn, other than that's just what the cartoon does, where
Right,
there's not anything where she even hints at, hey, I'm tired of this. Adam, let's have a chat. Because what you need to do, maybe I can get you in the back door, maybe I can help you. But like instead, it's just like, oh, she's just getting her ass whooped and then just taking it. And then even with the post
right,
credit sequence, like I'm just gonna do everything to keep Skeletor back, bring him back, keep him
yeah,
alive.
yeah, yeah.
Which is odd because it's very much the Starscream Megatron thing. But after a while, Starscream was like, you know what? F this. F
I
you,
don't want to do this
Megatron.
anymore.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm done with this.
poor Starscream. He's always so bad at everything he does. There's no, yeah, almost at any other time, in any other movie where that happens, eventually that one character is like, oh, I don't want to do this. What am I
Like I'm
doing?
done. What are we
I
doing?
don't want to play this
You
game at
go.
all
You only
anymore.
got two chokes, sir, and then I'm out. Like that's
Yeah.
it.
It also was weird in that same climactic battle where we're just speed running through all the story and lore. And he's like, you don't even know how to use your power, what you would do with it. And he's like, actually, I do. I've just been choosing not to. And I was like, what?
What? Why?
What?
We could have ended this a lot sooner had you not pulled your punches.
You've known how to. I'm sorry. That's the twist of the movie. Is that He-Man, who is is actually a fighter?
You're wrong, Tila. My secret is
Uh,
I'm always powerful. And just start
yeah,
punching people like, wait, what?
yeah. Oh man, what a
Yeah.
what a mess. There's some good things in it to
There's
like,
a
and I
lot.
totally
There's some really
understand.
fun, good things in there, but it is murky. It is not
It
as clean.
really,
I think Transformers is still probably the best of these sort of toy lines to action. Not Barbie. I'm taking Barbie out because Barbie is
yeah.
more of a specific thing, but like Transformers is the best thing, and I think it got
Unless you
the
want to
hey.
count TMNT,
True, true, but I'm doing Transformers more because it's more of a
because it was a toy
toy line
first.
and like there's a little humanity mixed to it. Like
Yeah,
Terrence is kind of a lot of just creature feature stuff,
and it was
but
a comic first.
right. And I would say the Transformers, the big three are Transformers, G.I. Joe, and this. They are all sort of in that same line of type of film. The G.I. Joe films have all I like Snake Eyes for the most part, but they're all terrible. They're
Yeah,
bad movies. Um, but I think Transformers is sort of the blueprint of this, where you build heart with the human character and like taking fish out of water before you even into the robots. And yes, I think Transformers also sort of falls into that line of sometimes like, is this for kids? Because there's some things that Michael Bay puts in here, or we're looking
yeah.
at Megan Fox in a way that we probably shouldn't be for a kids film. Here we are. Um, but overall, it got the heart of who the Transformers were, and it told an overarching story of who Sam became a very different person
Yeah,
from the beginning of that movie to the end of that movie. For this, part of it is because Adam is the person that we're sort of doing the humanity piece with. There's no growth to who he is by the end of
no,
this film.
no,
He's the
no, no.
exact same person, other than like now he's the person with a sword, as opposed to not having the sword. And that takes a
Right.
lot of the sort of weight or importance of watching this out, other than like, hey, I'm just watching a Saturday morning cartoon, which for some people, that's enough. For me, for a good chunk of it, that is really fun. But when I start thinking of it like, hey, do I really want to watch this again? Or like, does this have any sort of reverence where I'm like, oh man, you got to go see Masters of the Universe? No, I liked it, but it's a hard film to go, you should go watch this because this is
Right.
so amazing. It's not there. And I know a lot
No,
of people are
there's
comparing this to like Dungeons and Dragons as far as people not going to the theaters to watch it. Night and day, night and day, not
yeah, no,
even
those are
remotely in the same
D
realm.
and D is a very different. Had a lot
Yeah.
of other issues. If with its box office, not the movie. The
Right,
movie is
not with the
awesome.
film. Yeah.
The biggest difference there is that I really want more
That
Dungeons and
movie's really
Dragons, and
freaking
I
good.
don't
Yeah.
really want to watch this again.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
There are a couple of post credits that I need to mention because one
yeah,
of them is big for Masters of the Universe cartoon fans. Orko shows up, which is
yeah, I dug that.
that was dope. And then we get the She-Ra reference, which is good because I was sitting there wondering throughout the entire movie, I'm like, they have another kid. How does this get brought up? Because nothing is being brought up here about it, and they sort of
Yeah,
tag it into the end, which that could be the saving grace. We'll get into box office now, but that could be the saving grace for what kind of keeps this series going because She-Ra just tracks better than He-Man ever has in the last like decade or so.
Right. Yeah. It's strange. It is strange. It
Yeah.
is also interesting that it is just called Masters of the Universe, and we keep calling it
And we don't
He-Man
put He-Man on
Masters of the
there.
Universe. Yeah, like
It's
I
one of
don't
those
think
weird
it's
things that's
that
like
big of
just
a
lean
deal,
into
but
it.
it's
Call it like
just
you've got Moss Man here. You got Skeletor. Like just call him He-Man and let's call it a day. Like why
yeah.
are we
No,
Yeah.
they're again, they're stealing from every comic book movie and then not embracing what the comic book movies did that made it work, where
Yeah.
they were just like, no, it's comic books. It's Iron Man and Captain America and Thor and weird shit and
Yeah,
the
like
talking tree.
because my brain is like if you're not calling him He-Man, then does on Skeletor's team where Triclops is, are we not calling him Triclops? Does he have a name? Is he like
That
named Dwayne or something? Like
the
what
implication seemed to be that yes, but that was the other weird part is he kept being like Fisto, and the guy was like, "That's not my name," and I was like, but at no point was he like, "I'm Derek."
I have this name, right? Right.
At no point was anyone like, "Please call us by our real names."
Yeah.
They are this. Like
Yeah.
it's yeah. The movie goes for so many jokes that work, and then so many that don't work, and the ones that don't work are because you don't ground anything.
No.
It just is like bits, 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 bits.
Hmm.
Um, but that's all I have on it. Let's talk some box office numbers because
Ooh,
it's getting crowded in our first
it
week,
is
second week.
fascinating in this top five.
I will say, and I know it's weird when box offices break it down by weekends of the year. This is what the 26th weekend.
Yeah.
This is the second best opening, not opening, but overall box office since COVID for this week, this specific week of
Theaters are still
June.
packed, like from
So
top to bottom. It's a yeah,
that's very good news.
correct.
A lot of that is being led. Still, I mean, it's neck and neck with how some of these things did, but it is still very much being garnered by Obsession and
And back
Backrooms.
rooms. Yeah.
And the reality is, Mandalorian's still Mandalorian. I know a lot of people are on this like kick of like, look how bad it's doing compared to these, but it's still bringing in 10 million. But at the top, what we have is a movie we didn't talk about because I didn't get a chance to see it this weekend, which apparently we made the wrong decision. Uh, but Scary Movie 6 opens with a historic high for the franchise at 55 million. Probably one of the highest opening R-rated comedies in some time
It's good,
that I
but
can
yeah.
think of.
Yeah.
Quality of the movie aside, I think that that's just great. I think it shows that what people seem to want is original horror and comedy.
Yeah.
Like, not
We
necessarily original comedy. I mean, original horror, comma, any comedy.
correct. It's funny because like we talked about when we did Naked Gun that parodies that sort of didn't exist.
Died.
They stopped happening. And now we're in a world where like, no, Naked Gun did pretty well. This is did really well. We got there's a Spaceballs coming down the line. Like I think that parody comedy has put its sort of foothold back in the world, toe dipped a little bit, and it's like, hey, this is a comedy that again, a lot of the Gen Z they had never seen, and now they're like, wait, that's a thing. I like that. Let's do
Yeah.
more of that.
And hopefully it kind of alleviates some of the what I'll call fear of the studios who are like, well, we can't make these multi-budget.
Yeah,
And they always lean into like, well, Wedding Crashers did well because of the DVDs, and this did well because of the DVDs, and now we don't have that. So there's great. They make it a $20 million, $8 million comedy.
right, lower
They
the
make it
budget a bit,
cheaper.
and correct,
Like,
lower the budget a bit, and put it in the theaters. Like I think between this, Anyone But You is another one where you kind of like that's an R-rated romantic comedy, but it still falls into
yeah,
the comedy
that's
realm.
did
Like
very well too.
yeah, like I think there are audiences for this, and I think but the thing that's sort of important to say, and it's weird that we're saying this, is that between Mandalorian, Masters of the Universe, those are the big budget films, and right now they're getting their ass kicked by the smaller two horror films and the smaller
And
comedy.
this, and I
Yeah,
think it's. I don't know that I would have ever really put Motu He-Man on a scale of Star Wars or the MCU. I think that was always going to kind of be the like kind of
it's
older
very niche.
IP.
It's very
Yeah,
niche. The only reason I think I do is because they
because
ignorantly
they are
put the
positioning it that way.
budget put the
Yeah.
budget up to $200 million and like put it in a scenario where like yeah, now if this was like now it'd be harder to do with some of the effects that they have, but if this was more in the 80 to 90 95 range, I think no one would be batting an eye at them making 29.3
No,
million. They'd be like, okay, yeah, no, that's good for that
it
niche property, fine.
The story
This is
would
a
still be like, look at all these other things still
correct. Like, right.
doing
It would be like, oh
great.
man, the box office is doing quite well right now. But now they
Because
put
we're in,
themselves in a situation where it's like, ooh,
yeah. No, and I think you're right. This is a movie where I go, who are we trying to get? Are we just trying to get the people like my age and up who like know the franchise and are going to have a good time? Are we going to try to make this for the teens and the kids and all this
yeah.
jazz? I don't think they know that answer either,
Yeah,
frankly.
like I can't say this is for kids. I mean, obviously they want to sort of reignite the toy line, but I don't think this movie,
The
you're not
toy
getting the
line,
kids in there to do so with it.
and quite frankly, the toy line does fine.
Yeah,
That is the one. The toy line is always sound. It's
correct. Even
sometimes to
without
older
a
collectors. Yeah,
cartoon to match with it,
it
it's
might
still
be the
done.
most successful toy line ever. I don't have
Yeah,
it. Well, Star Wars. That's not correct. That's I know that
right.
that's wrong.
It's in the
Um,
top five
but it's
though.
up
It's a
there. Yeah,
brand. Yeah.
it's one of the few that'll always sell without something behind it,
Correct.
which is
Uh,
insane.
it is nuts. It is nuts. But I don't think they definitely don't get women. They definitely don't get the younger audience. So it's kind of like a you put yourself in a hole where this is that. Now, word of mouth seems to be pretty solid on this. It still
Yeah,
seems to be moving pretty decently, but with disclosure day coming around that
I was
corner,
like,
this is gonna get ugly real fast. But
and then rounding out our bottom because yeah, we had Scary Movie at 55, Motu at 29, Backrooms and Obsession both hitting 25. Backrooms
mhm.
at 25.9 and Obsession
It's a pretty
25.6,
it's a
which
pretty
is what
steep
it's,
it's a pretty steep drop for Backrooms, but Obsessions is doing
but it's
nuts.
third weekend, second week. I
Second
don't
weekend for Backrooms, and
Backrooms
I mean it's
third
a
weekend for
solid drop,
Obsession.
but yeah,
Yeah,
it's third. But it's a significant drop, but nothing. They came in so high that it's automatically going to be a significant
right.
drop because of how high it was. So it's nothing to sort of like get freaked out about if I
No,
feel.
especially not when you're now in the summer and
Yeah,
you're crowded. Sneaking in at number, what is that, five, four, one, two, three? I can't count.
yeah.
Uh,
The
this
digital,
amazing digital circus, this
yeah,
Fathom Fandango thing.
sure,
Huge. I looked it up. I see a little bit of it every. I don't watch it, but I'm aware of it. Huge web series on YouTube from
yeah.
2022. This is the end of the end, presumably, of it.
You and I've had this
Even
convo
that to me is a
before
little like, all right,
about
yeah,
like,
cool. The
yeah,
the
about like these random things that have an audience enough to like, hey,
yeah,
we're gonna put ourselves on this top 10 list. Hell, top five. Let's go for it.
yeah. I mean, I think that's great, right? I think
Yeah,
there's a goodness to that. The Mandalorian squeaks in with its little 10 million.
yeah.
Got to be close to the end of
What
its
I think
run.
also, I mean, we don't talk about this. We haven't talked about it in a while. Michael is doing some insane numbers, still being in the top 10 this long.
It's wild to me that that movie is still playing.
Yeah. Like
It's
it's
wild.
nuts.
I guess I mean it's Michael Jackson. Like he's the
It
one of
is,
the,
but
if
like I
not the
didn't expect
most
like
famous
it,
person on the planet.
correct, but like those reviews weren't the critical reviews weren't the highest, but the fans like F you critics, we're in here and like they are automatically just nope, we're gonna still be chipping away. There's no world where I don't see that being in the 375 range when it's all said and like it's at
No,
350 now.
yeah,
It's nuts what that movie is doing. And it's weird. We have a very healthy start to the box office this year before even getting into some of the
yeah,
big boys of the summer, which is because
and this,
Toy Story and it's going to come out like gangbusters.
yeah. I mean, this was, I think, kind of the. I know last year a lot of people were like, "This will be the year where everyone's back," but I think this seems to be the like. There's stuff that people want to see. People are coming. You definitely are still hearing a lot of the like expenses and this and this and this,
Hmm.
but I mean, it seems to be a good direction for hopefully. I mean, it's very possible that in 2 years we'll be like, they learned all the wrong lessons and everything is a liminal
They learned
space.
everything. We've so
We didn't
many
need a
liminal
Saw
spaces.
liminal space movie. um, yeah, no, it's interesting. It's good. I mean, I think it's very nice to see
A healthy
what
theater,
six
like a
years
health.
after COVID for it to really
Yeah,
be like, look at that.
yeah. It's fun. It actually does excite me. Even if things aren't good or are failing, I'm glad that it's pulling people into the audience, to the theaters again. It excites me to like leave a theater and just see the lobby packed and everybody.
Yeah,
This was a week where everybody was seeing something different. Like it wasn't all going towards one way. It was kind of like all over the place, which that's also important. Like
yeah,
I come from an era where movies had 2 to 3 weeks to maybe a month to 2 months in the theater, kind of just to play around. And the fact that Obsession was going to get a streaming release, and they're like, you know what?
Never mind.
Still doing well. We're gonna pull that
I
off.
think that clearly is the other lesson to learn. Like, I don't know why we're still on this. Like, oh, it's been out for 2 weeks. Digital
Digital
demand.
release.
Like, just let it run for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's our show, everybody. You can subscribe and leave a comment on YouTube. Hollywood already did it, where Terrence also does the trailer reactions and TV reviews. I'm at, as always, Blake. Terrence is at Terrence Tatum, and we will see everybody next time.
Later.